All right, so we got some wild footage from New York Comic Con. A huge shout out to Subcooler on YouTube for capturing this.
What a good day! Wow!
Alright, so who wants to try Kane's magical changing move first?
I guess I'll give it a go.
Wow! You look mediocre! If you ever need a sunburn, give me a call!
I don't want a sunburn.
Should have thought of that before I decided I hate you!
Don't interact with the sun. She's just like that.
Gangle, wait.
Now look, after everything the creators have been saying about this episode, what we're seeing here doesn't add up. And I think that's exactly the point. This is completely flipping the script on what we thought episode 7 would be. The title of episode 7 is The Day at the Beach. A beach episode. After weeks of Michael Kovach and Gooseworx telling us this episode is going to wreck the fan base and make people genuinely angry, we're getting a beach day. We've been mentally preparing for absolute emotional devastation, and instead, we're looking at swimsuits and sand. But here's where it gets interesting. Gooseworx straight up told us that nobody predicted how episode 6 would go down. She's doing the exact same thing here, throwing us off with what looks like a chill beach adventure. The footage shows Pomni, Regatha, Kinger, Gangle, and Zubul hanging out at the beach. Everyone's in swimwear. The mood seems pretty relaxed. Kane's doing his whole thing with a magical changing room, and that sun character shows up again, still being completely hostile and telling everyone she hates them. But here's the key detail everyone needs to pay attention to. Jax is nowhere near the group. If you look really carefully in the background, you can see him sitting alone in the shade, totally isolated from everyone else. And this makes complete sense when you think about where we left him in episode 6. The guy just had a complete meltdown, told Pomni they were never friends, and basically pushed everyone as far away as possible. Here's what I think is actually happening. This beach adventure is probably like 10, maybe 15% of the episode tops. The real story? That's happening back at the Circus tent. And this wouldn't be the first time the show has used an adventure as a smokescreen for what's really going on emotionally with the characters. Remember that sneak peek Gooseworx posted and then quickly deleted? The one showing Jax looking absolutely destroyed in what looked like his room, or maybe one of the abstracted characters' rooms? That image alone tells us more about the episode than this entire beach sequence. That's where the actual heavy stuff is going down, not on some beach. The fact that she deleted it so quickly makes it even more significant. She knew she was showing us something major, something that gives away the real tone of the episode. That's the content that's going to justify all these warnings we've been getting about the episode tearing the fanbase apart. So episode 7 was originally supposed to be combined with episode 8 as one massive episode, but Gooseworx had to split it because it got too long. That tells us something really important about what we're dealing with here. This isn't just a standard episode. There's so much content, so much story to tell that it couldn't fit into one release. And when you think about what that means for pacing, it changes everything about how we should interpret this beach reveal. Here's how I see it playing out. The episode probably opens with the immediate aftermath of episode 6. Jax is in seriously bad shape, isolated in his room, dealing with everything that went down at the award show. The emotional fallout from telling Pomni they were never friends, from pushing everyone away, that's where we start. Then Kane announces this beach adventure, trying to lift everyone's spirits like he always does. Jax either gets pressured into going by the others, or maybe he reluctantly decides to go himself, thinking maybe it'll help him escape his thoughts for a while. But here's the thing, even though he physically goes to the beach, he's not really there emotionally. He stays completely detached from the group the whole time, sitting in the shade, watching everyone else have fun without him. And then halfway through, something catastrophic happens that shifts the entire episode. Maybe it's triggered by the sun character, maybe it's something with Ribbit. That's when the beach adventure becomes irrelevant and the real story takes over. One thing that really stands out to me in this footage is Gangle. She looks genuinely happy without her comedy mask on, which is absolutely huge for her character development. Throughout the entire series, we've seen her hide behind that mask, using it as a shield to fake happiness when she's actually miserable. But here she seems authentically content, actually enjoying herself without needing that false protection. It's a subtle but really important detail about where her character is at right now. And honestly, I think everyone's so relaxed and genuinely having a good time, specifically because Jax isn't participating in the group activities. Think about it. Without him constantly antagonizing people, making cruel jokes, and spreading his whole nihilistic, nothing matters attitude, they can actually breathe. They can just exist without walking on eggshells or being targets for his next jab. There's this sense of relief in the footage that you can almost feel like they're finally getting a break from the toxicity. But then there's that teaser image we got after episode 6, the one showing Pomni and Jax looking happy together in what seemed like a genuinely friendly moment, except the photo is literally thrown in the trash. That visual tells us everything we need to know about where their relationship stands now. Whatever connection or potential friendship they had is completely destroyed, shattered beyond recognition. And the fact that it's in the trash suggests Pomni herself threw it away after Jax told her they were never friends and that he doesn't care about anyone. That's not just a broken friendship. That's Pomni actively choosing to discard the memory of what she thought they had. Here's the thing about Pomni that makes her character so compelling. She's shown us time and time again throughout the series that she doesn't just abandon people, no matter how hard they push her away. She has this deep sense of empathy and genuine care for others, even when they're actively being hostile toward her. It's one of her defining traits, and it's exactly why her dynamic with Jax is so important to the story. So episode 7 is almost certainly going to involve her making another attempt to reach out to Jax, to break through those walls he's built up and figure out why he's really acting like this. She's not going to just accept that he doesn't care and move on. That's not who she is. The question is whether that effort actually creates a breakthrough for him, helps him start to open up and deal with whatever trauma he's carrying, or whether it backfires completely and pushes him even further over the edge. Because Jax is in such a fragile, volatile state right now that even well-intentioned help could make things exponentially worse. And that uncertainty is what makes this so compelling. We genuinely don't know if Pomni's compassion is going to save him or accelerate his downward spiral. We know for a fact that Ribbit's going to show up as an actual character in one of the upcoming episodes, not just as a name that gets mentioned in passing. And episode 7 seems like a really strong candidate for when that happens. Now, how that fits into what appears to be a beach episode, I honestly have no idea, unless the beach adventure is just the surface level framework and the real meaningful content comes from flashbacks or major revelations about what actually happened between Jax and Ribbit in the past. Jax mentioned earlier in the series that both Ribbit and Kaufmo became insufferable right before they abstracted, which is already a loaded statement that raises a lot of questions. There's this really compelling theory that's been floating around in the community that maybe Ribbit wasn't just a friend that Jax tragically lost, but someone who actually hurt him in a really significant way. Maybe Ribbit betrayed him, or said something cruel, or revealed something that fundamentally changed how Jax sees relationships and trust. If that theory has any truth to it, then episode 7 might be where we finally get the full story, the complete picture of what happened. And that kind of major backstory reveal, especially one that would recontextualize everything we think we know about Jax's character, would need substantial screen time to explore properly and do it justice. That's another reason why the episode had to be split in the first place. You can't rush through something that important. Look, if you've been paying attention to this series at all, you know it's never really been about the adventures themselves. The adventures, whether it's the Candy Kingdom, the mansion, or now this beach, they're just the backdrop, the stage setting for all the real character development and emotional drama that's happening underneath. Episode 7 looks like it's going to take that formula and push it to its absolute limit. While everyone's having what appears to be a genuinely good time at the beach, building sandcastles or whatever Kane has planned, Jax is probably somewhere else entirely, either physically isolated at the beach or back at the circus tent, confronting whatever demons he's been running from this whole time. That separation, that contrast between the surface level fun and the deep psychological breakdown happening simultaneously, that's where the episode is going to earn all those warnings about dividing the fan base and making people angry. Because some viewers are going to be frustrated that we're spending time on a beach episode when they want answers, while others are going to be devastated by whatever's happening with Jax. It's designed to be divisive, and I think that's completely intentional. That Sun character being prominently featured in this episode absolutely matters, and I don't think we should brush it off as just comic relief. Her hostility toward the circus members isn't just there for laughs. There's something genuinely unsettling about her aggression. She openly tells them she hates them, warns them not to interact with her, and there's this underlying hostility that feels like it could escalate at any moment. If something goes catastrophically wrong with this beach adventure, and she's involved as the catalyst, that could be the exact turning point where the episode violently shifts from lighthearted and fun to genuinely dark and disturbing. Think about it. The sun is supposed to be this bright, warm, life-giving thing, but this version is hostile and threatening. That subversion of expectations mirrors exactly what the episode itself is doing. We're expecting fun, we're seeing fun, but there's this dangerous element lurking right there that could explode at any second. The sun might literally be the metaphor for the entire episode's structure. There's a Glitch Direct event happening later tonight where we should get even more info about episode 7, maybe even a full trailer. That should clear up how all these pieces actually connect. But based on everything we're seeing right now, this beach adventure is absolutely a bait and switch. Gooseworx knows we've all been preparing for something emotionally brutal. Starting with something that looks fun and harmless is the perfect setup to hit us even harder when things go south. Whatever happens in episode 7, it's going to fundamentally change where Jax's character is headed. And considering how rough he's doing right now, things are definitely going to get worse before they get any better. So yeah, that's my take on the episode 7 reveal. Let me know what you guys think is actually going to happen in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.